Welcome back to Around the Oaks, episode 2. I'm Travis.
Is that my cue?
Yes.
I'm Craig. You didn't tell me. I thought you were introducing me. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Don't edit that out. That was kind of funny.
Nope. No edits in this show. All right, so we're going to start off with an icebreaker question. Who is your favorite Disney hero? And we're extending that to Pixar as well.
You did.
Or Heroine. Yes.
Okay.
I'll start. Mine is Balto, the wolf.
Balto the wolf.
Actually, he's a sleigh dog, but it was a film that came out in 95, so before my time. But he delivers vaccinations to young children through the snow when the humans can't do it because it's snowing. So,
could you have picked a more obscure Disney hero
I could have.
than Balto? I can't even imagine.
There's a Flick from A Bug's Life.
Oh, no, that's not obscure.
Okay.
I love Flick. Okay, so we watched Encanto last night, which is an awesome movie. And so right now, my favorite Disney heroine is Mirabelle. She is amazing. It's such a great story. I cried. I seriously shed tears at the end of that story. So
I haven't watched it yet, so.
Awesome. It's awesome.
So this episode, we had a guest with us, and we did an interview over Zoom. So this guest was Ian McDaniel. We'll talk a lot more about him during the interview, but just know.
I'm so excited about Ian being willing to visit with us. He's a member of our 845 worship crew. He and his wife Jen and their kids come sometimes too. And his job is just so interesting, and his perspective on his own Christian faith in that job. I'm really glad we got a chance to talk to him.
Yep, and I think it went very well.
Yes.
So I hope you enjoy it.
We're here with Ian McDaniel today, asking him questions about what he does and how he does it for Christ. Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's great to be able to talk to you. This is pretty awesome.
Awesome. So you're a graphic and video automation guru at Good Theory Studios, right?
Yeah.
Man.
You co-founded the company in 2013, and you've been a technical show designer and engineer for 22 years. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I had to, looking over some things, I realized, wow, I started my first version of this company in actually 2000. So when I counted the years, I was like, that's 22 years. So
yeah, that's when I was
10 at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've toured the globe providing show system automation, LED wall mapping, pixel mapping, and 3D projection mapping for some of the biggest names in entertainment. What's some of your favorite clients that you've helped out?
That's a loaded question. You make so many friends along the way, and some enemies too. But yeah. But no, I mean, people like I worked with Black Eyed Peas for almost 3.5 years, and got to know them very well, and still kind of keep in contact with various things, even after that. So people like Will Smith, I know he's a little bit in the news here lately, but probably one of my favorite clients to work for. And then and all the people that surround those people is kind of like where the magic is. So
yeah, I was looking at the list, Ian, and it like had Star Wars. You've done work for Star Wars in Concert, iHeartMedia, American Country Music Awards, the American Music Awards, Super Bowl 45 halftime show.
Yeah,
it's 55, right?
I just remember it was
XLV.
XLV. I think
45.
Is that 45. Yeah, that's 45. Yeah, so that was. Yeah, and that was with Black Eyed Peas, so,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because of those guys, I'm standing on the field, pregame for no good reason. I was just there because I had a pass that said I could. So,
yeah, absolutely, I would.
But I've, these guys have just taken me everywhere, and and even bands like Boyz II Men, they flown me to Japan and Europe and toured the countryside. And it's just, I get some pretty amazing experiences.
But you're kind of a local figure. as well. Travis, talk about what he does just here in Orlando.
You also do Club XL. You're a host and DJ for XL 106.7 in Orlando. You were.
Yeah, I was for almost a decade. So, which is one of my favorite gigs.
What do you do currently?
So actually, so a friend of mine that was in the AV industry and all that, he got out of that business and bought a little bar and grill in College Park called The Local. And because he is a crazy audiophile and I am too, so we combined our tool sets and installed some turntables and got a system going in there. So I do like an 80s and 90s all vinyl night on Thursdays.
My era, man. That's our era.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Yeah.
So it's just so fun. It's kind of like a little bit of escape from the craziness of life, and for 4 hours I'm going to sit there and listen to music for every Thursday. So except for when I'm traveling, we have to make some accommodations, but yeah, so mostly every Thursday I'm there, and then we do it online at collegeparkradio.com. It's all streamed live. So
and you and your wife Jen attend our church at 8:45.
Yep.
With your 5 kids.
5 kids.
We are age range.
Oh my gosh, 11, 12, 16, 18, and 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah. Those are all about to change, so I had to think about which ones hadn't had. So yeah, three of the kids live in Jacksonville most of the time, and so they're down every 2 to 3 weekends, depending on my travel schedule and their schedule. And it gets harder as kids are going into college and everybody's busy.
I think I've met everybody, Ian.
I believe you have.
Cassie and I got to know real well.
Yeah.
And Claire, I've gotten to know pretty well. And then Connor has come with you guys.
Yeah, Connor came, and actually the last time we were there, Sydney was with us too. Right. So and Jackson. So
yeah, we've met everybody.
Yeah, you met everybody.
Well, you're on the job right now, Ian.
I am.
You're in Houston.
I'm in Houston.
What are you doing? What are you doing there?
So I'm doing what they call making a happy face video. Basically, when these big conferences, this is a medical one, where they're launching a new drug and kind of getting the word out about it and teaching all their salespeople about it. But as people check in, we have a film crew that goes out and shoots everything, and then they bring the footage back to me, and actually there's one editor on this one. I'm doing more graphical work on this, but together we edit together the video that they're going to show on Friday at the end of the thing that shows everybody having a great time and kind of a recap of everything they've done throughout the week, and there's activities offsite and it's just there's lots of people smiling in these videos, so that's why they call them a happy face video.
Yeah. And you're working a whole week just to do what, 5-10 minutes of video?
Yeah, actually it's going to be about 2.5 minutes.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of effort and money goes into making these things, so it's crazy. Large staff.
Your career has kind of taken you to the height of the entertainment industry, but also just technology, as it comes to productions and incredible events. You've done stuff for theme parks that we can't really talk about.
Right.
But probably all of us have seen your stuff. You've been doing this for like 25 years. So when was the time that you started to figure out, hey, I've got some talent, I've got some gifts that I've been given, that then became what you're doing now?
I don't know if there was necessarily a tipping point, but like going all the way back to my childhood, my dad would, he built a dark room into the house that we, down the basement. Like this house was poured concrete. So I was developing slides at like age 5. So,
Wow.
And then, we used to do a big conference, much like what I'm doing here for my mom's company. And and we take pictures throughout the week. We develop the slides, we put it to music on a reel-to-reel and a control code to control projectors, and we'd show the slideshow on the last day of the conference. It's
Nice.
the 1980s
How old would you have
version.
been? How old would you have been when
I
you
mean,
started
probably
writing?
the time I was doing those, I was probably 10 years old by the time I was doing that stuff. So,
Man.
and I still collect reel-to-reels and stuff like that. I love all the old vintage electronics like that. But and even slide projectors, and I still have
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff.
Well, I remember watching the family trip on the slide projector in the
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
So we'd always set them to music just because we could. So
Yeah. Sure. Fireworks? Did you sort of coat?
no, never
Synchronized
was able
fireworks?
to do. Wasn't able to do that at a young age.
That was
That was later in life. But yeah, so and then combined with the visual side, then my youth minister in Kansas City, in Blue Springs, they guy Keith Harris, and he and I started DJing together in 1988. I was in 8th grade. And,
I remember Keith. I remember Keith.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in Kansas City on the Kansas side, but it was all the same
Right.
presbytery.
Yeah.
And yeah, Keith was a star. I mean, in
Yeah.
terms of working with young adults and kids, he was always speaking and doing workshops about that stuff. And I'm just so proud that you got a chance to, have some mentoring by him. He was awesome.
Yeah. He's still is awesome. I actually just talked to him not long ago.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah.
Totally lost track of him.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because his brother, Kevin Harris, he lives in Orlando now.
Oh.
And he's bounced around. He does music ministry at some other churches, and I don't think he's doing anything at the moment, but but we have lunch like at least once every couple of weeks, so get to keep in touch. But and actually he was a pretty big influence on me too, because he was big on the computer side. So I got my very nerdy technical side fulfilled with Kevin, my music side with Keith, and the visual side with my dad, and I just kind of seemed to put all those together and just kept running with it. In college, I wanted to be an audio guy, and that's how I ended up in Orlando. I was kind of bored of school in Springfield, Missouri, which is, I think it's Missouri State now. It used to be called Southwest Missouri State when I was there.
The Gorillas. Gorillas, yeah.
And then we so I moved down here to go to Full Sail. I didn't actually go. I ended up DJing at Pleasure Island instead, which is now Disney Springs. And then once Universal opened their City Walk, I got hired on as a tech entertainment there, and that's where I met my business partner. And we kind of got ourselves a couple books on how to use 3D Studio Max, and figured out how to make logos, and kind of just did a throwaway, like a free show for a bunch of corporations that were coming to do an event at the Groove. And that caught the attention of a friend of ours, and that friend is the brother of Joey Fatone from NSYNC, and then that just exploded. I mean, that was the beginning of our company, and we worked with a lot of pop stars, and just kept on growing our talent as we went.
That's a great story. Well,
yeah, it's just totally kind of word of mouth, and that's how we ended up here. So, but through that, I love the technical side of what I do, which is part of the reasons I like doing these, more corporate shows and stuff like that. Usually they're very complex about, you got to take in, 20 different computers to be able to, at a moment's notice, put any of them on any number of screens and stuff like that. And that's just something that I guess my brain just kind of gravitates to pretty easily, and it all just makes sense. So, yeah, I get to be creative. I get to be a little nerdy, and And still, especially doing tour work, I get the music side of things too. So I like to bounce around a lot, keeps me entertained and keeps my
Yeah,
brain active.
awesome answer. Travis, why don't you go next?
What's your favorite part about the job? Is it seeing what your whole presentation come together, or is it making these connections?
It's making the connections. I love, meeting new people and talking to them and getting to know them, and especially, once you get close to a superstar, somebody like that, and then you have human moments with them. That's really cool. And when you're not talking about what it is they do as defining them, and you're just talking about stupid stuff your kids do. I mean, like that's that's really fun. And then even some pretty deep philosophical conversations, which I can't talk about, but they're because I have lots of NDAs. But yeah, just really, there's a lot of really good people out there. Even amongst there's more good people than not, and that's refreshing, especially in the entertainment world.
Yeah,
Some of the people that you might not think would be nice are usually the nicest people in the world.
that's
So
really good perspective.
no.
Our secretary, her daughter, just got to go to Justin Bieber concert, and I was talking about her. She teaches at our preschool here too, and I was talking about how was the concert, and because her dad is a musician, he knew some of the musicians in the backing band, and so they were invited to go hang out with all of Justin Bieber's musicians, not Justin Bieber himself, but
Right.
yeah, the same comment. Just people were down to earth, very genuine, loved what they did, loved being around other people, and just very nice people.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of the general. I like even at some of these, corporate shows, which you would think would be kind of a drag or whatever, they find a way to have fun and keep
Mhm.
connected and keep their networks strong, and it just, it's fun. It's really is fun, and um, almost enlightening to be around such a crazy wide variety of people of every
Yeah.
different race, ethnicity, every like religions. We're all over the place, like nobody's alike here. And I think it's it's refreshing to have that kind of view and see everything.
Well, I think that was then my last question was I was wondering, because you grew up in the church. I mean, it sounds like, your faith development and your professional development have kind of gone hand in hand. I mean, they got started from the same place. You're a Christian. And so do you get like these God moments? Do you have these places where things really start to kind of intersect between who you are spiritually and who you are professionally?
Yeah, and sometimes those conversations are hard on the road. They're get a
Mhm.
bunch of roadies together. You're usually not going to have those kinds of conversations, but every once in a while you do.
Yeah.
And you get to talk about what you believe and why you believe, and those moments are really cool to, especially when it's coming from somebody that you wouldn't suspect would be so open and willing to talk about their experiences. So it's I think that's really cool. And
Yeah, you're kind of a missionary to the education, not the education, the entertainment world in a sense. This is what, a Christian, can, look cool, can be cool, can very much be a part of the industry and working with everybody else to make a, show really great, but
yeah,
also as somebody that, is somebody who's following Jesus and, is trying to live with integrity with that. It's kind of an awesome opportunity you get.
yeah, it really is. I mean, there's a stigma surrounding rock and roll. we've all heard it, and there's a lot of truth to it in some respects, but it's like like I've been finding out, it's that stigma is not as reality based as
Mm.
it exists. It's out there, but it's not as prolific as you might think, and that's refreshing. That's why I like meeting all these people and finding out that there's some really amazing people out there doing amazing things, and both personally and professionally, and and people are a little more grounded in faith than you might expect in the entertainment industry.
That's a really good reminder. And it's good to hear too. I'm so glad you're doing what you're doing. And it's been so fun getting to know you and become a friend and have you be a part of the church here. And you and Jen and the kids are just really, really special people. So thanks. And I have to say, before Travis finishes things up, that, Travis, you have all that hair going on up here. Ian, you have all that hair going on down here, and I'm just losing in both. I got to come out here. This is where I got hair right now.
Well, I think I might have transplanted some from out of there down here. So. Once I passed 40, it was all over. It's
Travis, you better get this guy back to work. He's on his break.
Well, thank you for joining us. If you had to send people somewhere to see more of what you do, where would you send them?
Goodtheorystudios.com is my website, and we have some demos and stuff up there. Probably something that I should update at some point here soon. But sometimes it's hard with like you said, theme park work. You can't put that stuff on a website. So
can we talk about the Winter Garden thing though? The real quick?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That one
we
I
don't
can
even
talk
talk about that. So you do the City Hall shows at Winter Garden for their. Are you doing another one coming up here? Did you do the art one?
Yeah, the arts in April. I just did that Saturday, right before, literally the night before I flew out to Houston, and I finished it that morning too. So.
Oh wow! So are you going to do Halloween and
Halloween and Christmas, and there was talk about a music fest event too. Probably, I think they told me February, but that
cool.
I don't know exactly, but yeah, definitely all the, we usually do, 2 to 3 weeks leading up to both Halloween and Christmas. So
yeah, that's a great way. That's a great way to see your work. And
that's really fun. We started that, I believe, in 2015 or maybe it's 2014. That the years blend together a bit, but just as a project between our company and another company, Intersecting. And so we just made a bunch of stuff, and then it just keeps going and growing, and we just make more stuff and add it to the show, and it gets longer and longer, and just more and more stuff to look at every year. So it's really it's a lot of fun, love to. I guess Travis, you asked what one of my favorite parts is. The other favorite part of mine is the wow moments, like when I drop a spider across City Hall and everybody goes every time, and every then time. Or when you do something really cool and people go wow, so and I get to kind of experience that in a lot of areas when I work and when I actually get to see my work with an audience. So that part's really cool.
Well, thank you for joining us. And
you thought this through. I could tell, nope. Travis. All right, Ian, get back to work. You're on your lunch break. We need to get you some food. See ya.
All right. Bye, guys.
Were there any questions that you thought of after the fact to ask?
To ask Ian?
Yes.
No, not really. I thought it was just a great conversation. I thought we covered a lot of bases. I was especially wanting him to kind of give his take on being a Christian in that industry. Mm-hmm. And I thought he did a great job. And my sense, Travis, was he struck a very optimistic tone. He said, regardless of what your stereotype is of people in the entertainment business, his experience is many of them are down to earth. Mm-hmm. They're very real, genuine people with real needs and concerns. And it's not necessarily hard always to talk to them about your faith. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of that in other interviews as well. So it's nice to see that it's not just one voice being reverberated.
Stamp of verification.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask more about the technology that he's seeing over his course of his career.
Oh, the changes?
Yeah. I mean, he talked about slide projectors.
Yes.
And
I remember slides.
I've been lucky enough to see one. So,
You have seen one?
yes.
Okay, yeah.
It
They were
was-
the thing. Yep.
So we have some upcoming events to talk about. You want to start us off?
Sure. Thanks, Travis. You're doing a good job throwing me cues today.
Yep.
Well, on a serious note, we do want people in the church to know about Mildred Arrington. Mildred passed away a little over a week ago, and we are going to have a memorial service for her at Oakland Presbyterian Church on, I want to make sure I get this right, next Saturday. So that's Saturday, May 14th. And the service will be at 1 p.m. in the sanctuary. And then there'll be a reception afterwards. And this is such a neat story because Mildred, very active in this church, very strong woman of faith. And God rewarded her for that with 105 and a half years on earth. What an amazing testimony. And my understanding is it wasn't until the last year or so that she, was failing and didn't have that just very, very winsome faith. So it's really cool to celebrate her.
And that'll be at the church only. There will not be an online event happening.
Okay,
So keep that in mind.
good to know.
We also have some summer camp registrations that are open.
Summer camps. I'm excited. This is my first summer at OPC to see all these camps.
So we're starting off with VBS. The topic this year is Passport to Peace, teaching kids about how to treat each other nicely. Kind of what's going on with the sermon series this month.
How needed is this? Oh my gosh. I was so excited when Tiffany let me know that they were doing this as their VBS theme, and I thought, man, that's just so timely right now with what's happening in our culture. So I hope the word gets out.
This is going on July 11th to the 15th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it's for ages 5 through 5th grade. And we're looking for volunteers as well as
Yes.
children to sign up. So keep that in mind.
Yes.
If you're able to help out, please let Tiffany know. And the registration is online. You'll see a link on the screen.
And registrations are going well. So you might want to get on there if you haven't yet to make sure you got a spot.
Get on there fast. We also have music camp, July 25th to the 29th. It's 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., a lot longer than VBS.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
for completed kindergarten through 5th grade. The kids will be putting on a play about the story of Jonah and the whale. They'll be playing with a lot of musical instruments and activities doing such.
How are they going to pull off the whale? Will it be?
Guess
I
you'll have
assume it
to
won't
stay
be
tuned to
real,
find out.
although it could be.
It could be.
Animatronic? Do you think they'll
We'll go to the
go over
aquarium
Disney
for a
and
day.
snag one? A robot whale.
And the kids will be videotaped by me doing all this. And you'll be able to see their performance at the end of the week, I think.
Okay.
It might be available to parents only. I'll get
We'll
more
see.
information on that. And
Music camp. Yes.
yes. So,
And I can give a little announcement. I
Okay.
think I'm pretty secure because I talked to the person this week. We used to have Lego camps, and unfortunately, we are not having a summer camp for Lego this
Okay.
year, which is a bummer. Lori, who had run those, has moved away, and we celebrated her in January. But somebody has come forward to get the Lego clubs back going again in the fall. So stay tuned for that. And who knows, that may lead into other things like summer camp again. I don't know. I don't think she's super excited about that at this point. She just wants to get the clubs going. So stay tuned on Lego clubs coming back. Pretty exciting.
awesome. And lastly, this next Sunday, Sunday the 15th,
Yes.
we have a big Sunday coming up.
It's a big
An
Sunday.
important Sunday.
It's an important Sunday because it's that time of year when we recognize those who have worked hard in school and they are graduating. And we have 3 types of graduates that we're recognizing next Sunday. We have high school graduates,
Yep.
obviously. We have some college graduates, and we have one master's graduate level graduates, and he will be here actually
Ooh.
to celebrate him. So that's coming up next Sunday. I think spread
This
out
Sunday.
between- This Sunday.
Yep.
Whenever this thing comes out. It'll be the next one.
Yep.
hopefully.
And you can catch that online or in person. We'd love to have you in person to help us celebrate with these graduates. So come on down.
Hold down.
Final icebreaker before we sign off for the month.
Last icebreaker for this.
What sports do you watch or follow?
That's so easy. NFL. NFL, NFL, and NFL are my top three.
Okay. I only pay attention to two.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I haven't had any indication from you at all that you're a sports fan.
Except for all the basketball hats I wear.
Do you really?
Yep.
Yes, you do.
NBA.
Yeah, come to think of it.
Pay
Okay.
attention to the Raptors because dinosaurs are cool.
Oh, okay. So that's
Yep.
not because you're from Toronto.
No.
Okay.
Never been that far north.
Nope.
But I also pay attention to F1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They've got a big
I
race
am
coming
too.
up. Oh.
Yeah. Ben Duchesne and Tom Duchesne have gotten me into F1. And I don't watch it live because I'm just not.
It's not a great time for us.
No, but I always watch the replay. And it's exciting.
Yeah. They just
That's
made a
in
track in Miami. It's going
know.
on today as we're recording this on
I mean,
Sunday.
It looked legit.
Yeah.
Like it was in Europe. It was an incredible course. Yeah, F1. Pretty exciting.
Well, thank you for joining us. As always, hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. Leave us a comment with feedback. And we already have a guest lined up for next month, supposedly. But if you want to see a guest in July and onwards, guests with an S, leave that down below for us. Hit the like button if you like this video. If you didn't like it, there's a button for that too. We don't like that button, but you can hit it anyways.
If do they hit the is there a dislike button?
Yes,
There is a dislike button.
there is. But if you leave a dislike, leave us feedback on why you disliked it.
Yes.
Leave us feedback anyways.
Yes. Because I'm going to assume that if they hit dislike, it's about you.
Oh, okay.
Could be about me.
Well, thank you.
So you'll need to be specific.
All right.
Travis, I'm sorry.
Thank you for joining us. Join us back next month. There might be a change in the schedule. We'll talk about it, find out, keep you posted on it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.